Hey guys, what's up? Amizu here, coming at you with another mashup video. Today we're going to be actually showing you how to make a mashup from start to finish, including the mixing, mastering, and choosing the samples and whatnot. So, for this tutorial I'm going to be using Ableton Live. This is my DAY, or DAW, as you see, Digital Audio Workshop. And you're going to need three things mainly for this. You're going to need Ableton Live or your DAW, whichever one you use. And you're going to need samples. Those being acapellas and instrumentals, and you're going to finally need a program called Mixed in Key, which will help you a lot. First off, we're going to find some samples that work well together, so we're going to drag our instrumental first, because generally you want to start with the instrumental track to build upon, or if you are want to build upon an acapella, do it the reverse way, put in acapellas first, then put an instrumental. But either way, you're going to put in one before the other, and you'll come up with key results. So right now is artist name key result. That helps us determine if a song is in tune or in harmony with another. Tempo, energy does not exactly matter because you can switch that by just some minor volume adjustments. And we're just going to scroll through, and we're just going to do a quick one here. Let's find a song. So that sounds good. We're going to use Zed's Spectrum. We're going to drag it on to Ableton. And likely you can drag it on from here, as it just click, drag, it's right there. Next, Apple A, delete, because most likely you won't be using more than one instrumental part. If you are, you can do that in a later process by layering. But right now, we're going to sync this up. And there's a section right here where it first starts, but we really want it to hit on that first stab. That way it'll be easier to line up. 130 BPM, change to Complex Pro, drop the formats down. Generally for all the tracks I do, I drop the formats all the way down because that, if I'm going to do any key changes, then it does affect it. And I'm actually going to pitch it up 5 semitones for this tutorial just because a copyright. So first off, we'll play it. Good thing to do before too is make sure every section is in time. So I'm going to zoom up here, see it's slightly off time. So I'm just going to keep pressing, find where it is, double click, place a warp marker, and then we're going to drag it holding the shift key to where we want it exactly. I'm going to zoom back up here a little bit, see if everything's good. Everything looks good. Generally you want to spend more time making sure each section is in time, but for now we're going to do this pretty quick. So now we're going to go back to mixing key because we forgot to look up what key Spectrum is in. So we're going to type in Spectrum, not that one, on this one. It's in 5A key to signature, so we're going to rename this 5A. Next, as you see, there's a wheel right here. Anything that's in 5A, 4A, or 6A will go in key together, but you can't mix 6A and 4A, and you can't mix 6B and 4B. 5A works good with 5B too, so either way it can work this way, and it can work around it, surrounding it, and that's how it works. So now we got to find a track that's in 5A right now. So scroll for a bit. Windows Shopper, no. Generally, you want to find a song that is in the same key first. But if you're not worried about that and you're worried about tempo, then find a track in the same tempo, then you can adjust the key based on that. So we're going to find something in 5A. Let's find this.
Okay, Bella's you.
Gimme ya, gimme ya.
So that's going to be our acapella for the 5A key signature. Treasure by Bruno Mars.
Okay, Bella's you.
So we're going to drag it. After the waveforms are unloaded, we're going to right click and then warp from straight. Now we're going to transpose it to 5 semitones because copyright, like I mentioned before.
Gimme ya, gimme ya, gimme ya.
song to have a small intro section. That's why we're gonna wait until we can bring the acapella in. We don't want it to start immediately, like right here. Because it starts a little bit too early and you can't really feel the mood. It's better if you introduce new elements in slower. That way you play the original track, people are like, oh, okay, you know, this is Spectrum by Zed. But then they hear Treasure, it's like, oh, it's completely something different. And it really shocks them. It's a good crowd pleaser. As you can tell, it is not in sync, so we're going to zoom out a bit. It's going a little bit too fast, so right click right there, hold shift, and we're going to drag it. I'm lining this section up right here, if you're wondering. That section right there too. Basically, you're looking for, you don't want to do every single part of the waveform. Generally, I do in the beginning and the end of every like vocal section. So you see I'm doing like one right here, I'm doing one right there, in the beginning and the end. This really just takes practice, because then you can recognize which sections need to be in sync and which ones not. And you can also use your ears too. For example, I'm going to do that right now. That L needs to be zoomed back a little bit more. Zoom it back. So a quick tip too is if you see that the majority of the warp markers are like near each other, like as you can see it's like 115, 116, 115. We're gonna go back here, click right there, and click type in 115, and most likely, one second, a little more, it'll help you match up more of the waveform, so you won't need to transpose as much, or not transpose, you won't need to warp as much compared to before. So as you see, a lot of it's lined up now. There are some sections that still need to be fixed, but now a good portion of it is synced up already. So we're gonna have to listen to the beginning. So as you can see, you first ignore this. You want to listen to it, make minor adjustments while you're listening to it. One thing I usually do is I check each verse down, listen to it maybe twice, skip next one. This way it makes it a little bit easier to handle when it's section by section, other than if I did this whole first intro verse right here. So it's good to do section by section. Another thing too, you want to maintain the structure of a song. So like the build-up hits right at the same build-up as Spectrum does, which is good. And then the main chorus hits when the drum beat comes in, which is nice. And then the oh comes in at the build-up. We'll probably fade this out, that way it doesn't distort as much. Do this. reason I added this in because it's a good pre-drop vocal sample before the actual drop hits. So, and there's nothing right there originally, but it's nice to bring the song in again because it's a new element, and it also is like it reminds you that it's a mashup. Because yeah, treasure hits again, and you would not expect it to come in there. So for this tutorial at least, I'm just gonna be doing one verse and the main drop. I'll have it fade out. So we go good. We have our instrumental ready. We have our acapella, and this is a simple mashup pretty much. This is basically what you do. Next is the second phase, which is EQing and adding some effects. So first we're going to add 2 EQ8s on both channels. As you see, they're both there. So first we're going to solo the instrumental and take a listen. And we're going to cut off the low end a little bit, that way it doesn't distort as much. Give some more space for these lower frequencies on the acapella too. Another good idea too, if you're using an instrumental, you might need to leave a pocket sometimes for the vocals, which is around here on the middle section, the 1K 1000 hertz area. So you want to make like a little dip using the, I forgot what that's called, using the bell. I think it's called a bell, yeah. Using the bell attachment. And you can adjust the Q level, adjust it so it's generally pretty flat. It's like 0.10, 0.4. Raise it up a little bit, and then just adjust a little bit more. You want it to just be like a small dip in, maybe like negative 1.5 dB to give you a nice pocket. Next, we're gonna maybe lower off the high shelf just a little bit, like that. And it's hard to tell the difference, but through your speaker most likely. But this pocket area, this dip right here, and that low end cut will make it a lot easier to mix in the vocal now. We're gonna keep listening until something happens. In order to make capture the high frequencies a little bit better, we're gonna get a high or a little somewhat high Q value and change the frequency to like 6-ish, because 6 is it's a good area to make things if you want them to stand out in the higher range. As you can tell, it stands up a little bit higher. It's a little bit better. Okay, sounds good. Next, we're gonna solo the vocal now.
Give me your attention, baby.
We're gonna cut off the low end to about 208 or 28, and we're gonna do a brick wall cut, which is the 4x instead of this one, which gives you a slope. This one is better because it gives a really nice rigid cut.
Give me your.
Because we don't want the bass frequencies of the acapella to infringe on the instrumental bass frequencies, because mainly vocals are mid-range and high-range, not so much low.
Give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're one of our flawless, ooh,
You can tell it's a DIY acapella, which means it's do it yourself. So there's going to be some artifacts in it. And artifacts are basically some parts of the original track that did not get phased out completely.
Give me your.
And same strategy as before, except we're going to move a bell frequency in the middle.
Give me your attention, baby.
And we can tell the higher range is a little bit lacking based on the spectrum.
Give me your attention, baby.
And we're going to cut at 1800 hertz. Or 18 kilohertz. We're going to do that. I forgot to do that for this one too. So we're going to do a really quick cut. Only reason I'm doing that is it gives us more headroom. Basically headroom space. It gives us more headroom, aka space, for the actual mastering when we have to make everything loud and better sounding.
Give me your. attention, baby. I gotta tell you.
And that phasing is getting pretty annoying, so we're going to add a reverb behind the EQ8. Do some quick settings. Only really need to add a reverb, adjust it a little bit, that way it doesn't get too
Give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're one of our ballers.
because we don't want it to get out of hand too quick. We're just doing it to add more texture and to try to avoid the noticeable what do we call it, instrumental that's in the background. Okay, what else do we need? We need a multi-band compressor too. Put it right after the reverb. Just do some quick adjustments. Low frequencies usually cut off at 200. Highs, we're going to cut it at 5-ish. Okay. And we're going to adjust the attack. So, negative 40 should be better. 40. Negative 40. Do a lot of...
Give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're one of our ballers, ooh, you a sexy lady. But you walk around here like you wanna be someone else. Oh, wow. I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine. Fine, so fine. Oh, wow. Oh, girl, I'm gonna... Give me your attention, baby.
This multi-band compressor makes it a little bit easier to
Give me your...
isolate the vocals just a bit more. But mainly, if you're making a simple mashup and you got a studio acapella, which is a very high quality acapella, you won't really need to worry about that. You'll just need an EQ8 equalizer. And we're gonna do some gentle fade-ins because it makes it a little bit better sounding. So we're gonna do a fade-in right there, and a small fade-in right there. So does not have any clicking noises, because if you notice, some songs have that click, like a really sharp click. It's really short but noticeable. That is because there is a the waveform isn't completely complete, and it got cut in the wrong section, and there's no fade in or fade out or smooth leading into it, so it makes a jarring sound. Imagine playing a kick drum, right, and then cutting off the actual like hit and just like going straight to the reverb of the drum. That's pretty much what happens when you cut it too much. And you can fix that just by some quick fading. I always do this towards the end of the project. I don't do it towards the beginning unless it's very annoying to me. Then I do it towards the end, beginning. But you want to do it at some point. And most likely you don't need to do it in the beginning because they have a small lead in like that. If you do like a small gentle one. You don't need to do it very big, and if you do, it can be, you don't want to overuse it. That's what I'm saying, because if you do, it can end up really bad. So we got our acapella set, we got our treasure or we got our instrumental and acapella set. Just one quick thing, want to select all. We're going to go to Pro, Complex Pro, Format 0, Envelope. I really don't need to change that, and ignore this transposing. We're only doing that because they're in different keys. So now we're going to export wave. These are generally the settings I use all the time now. File type wave, sample rate 44/100 or 44K, that's what people said. Bit rate 24. You can go to 32. I do 24 just because it's a little bit quicker, and not a lot of people notice the difference between 24 and 32. Especially if it's for people that normally listen to like top 40 or something like that. Analysis file, you probably won't need it. Do not add dither. Whatever you do, don't do it yet. Convert to mono, probably not. You want stereo. Normalize, we're not doing that. We're actually mastering it. So exports and mashup sample. So we're going to export it. And I am not sure if I'm going to do it in the same project file or not. I guess I can do it. Generally, you don't want to do this, but I actually... No, let's do it. Never mind. Save. Yeah, sure. Untitled. Okay, cool. New project file. Go to the desktop. Grab the sample. Waveform. Drag it on. And that's our waveform right there. That's including the vocal too. We'll have to take a listen.
Give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're one of our finest, ooh, you a sexy lady. But you walk around here like you wanna be someone else. I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine.
So all sounds good. All sounds good. Okay. First tutorial, at least, I have two different mastering options. I can either use my good mastering plugins, FabFilter Pro Limiter, or my Isotope Ozone 5. I use them in tandem. I use my Isotope Ozone 5 for the main effects and whatnot, and then I use the FabFilter Pro Limiter for the limiting. It's a brick wall limiter, so it allows everything to get really loud without it clipping as much, and you can push things pretty loud. And I use that for the limiter. It's a little bit better than Isotope, but Isotope handles the majority of the things that I really need. For example, I use it for EQing before and after. The exciter, if I want it to be gritty sounding or not. Dynamics, just quick compression for the highs and the mids. And stereo imaging, just widening the sound to take up more of the stereo imaging. And maximizer, I use this in tandem with the limiter, but I do this after. What I mean by that is I only open both. So first I start off with this EQ. I EQ everything. I EQ the whole track. Next I go to harmonic exciter, fix that. Change the dynamics around a little bit, just some compression, stereo imaging. Edit some post, EQ, just cut off the highs and lowering the mids slightly. And then maximizer I leave off until I get to here. Adjust the fab filter based on what I need. As you can tell, I can get pretty damn loud, but it starts to distort. So as I get a comfortable level right there where there's not a lot of clipping, I go onto here, maximizer, turn it on, drop down the margin to -3 so it doesn't clip in here. Then drop down threshold so it pushes it even more, but it's acting like a compressor at this point. So this is the limiter. This kind of acts like a compressor, but we're not doing that today because it's a little bit complicated for a lot of you guys, and I highly recommend you check out a tutorial because I'm not too good at explaining everything. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way, what I used to use, and this is a plugin chain that I have made just for just for mashups. So we're gonna load a complex with complex, or master with complex fixer. So basically, the part of this chain, you want to copy this down. Highly recommend you set it. Multiband dynamics, change it to A, above thresholds and ratios. High 2.26 kilohertz, low 200 hertz, and then nothing changed right here. Maybe you can enable soft knee, but it's not really required. Next, for the EQ8, you're gonna put a brick wall, the left cut on the 30 hertz. A small raise in the 4.46 kilohertz, 2.6 gain, 0.71 Q. This is important because whenever you use the Complex Pro section right here, it drops the higher frequencies, and it either filters them or does something to them, but it messes them up a lot, and by adding this, it'll restore those lost frequencies. Next, we're adding a limiter, having it the ceiling at -0.3 dB, look ahead 6, and then releases auto. So first thing you want to do is just play your track. So playing. And as you see, none of these are going past the band, so we're going to have to drop it a little bit lower. Nothing is happening yet with the dynamics compressor, but we generally want to maybe lower this section, lower that. Just a little bit of compression to smooth it out. I I did an output 1 dB increase to the bass because you want it a little bit more punchier. Next, we're going to go over the limiter, and we're going to just raise it up slowly. Our goal is to have it not past -6. So just checking, make sure it's not clipping or whatever. And that's pretty much it. That was a really quick tutorial. You most likely won't be doing any major EQ changes. No cutting or anything like that. You're not going to be doing any of that in the master. You want to do that all before in the project file. And you don't want to work on the master channel. You don't want to really do that. You just want to do it right here. When you're actually working on from the main mashup on the components where you have each track, don't put anything in the master file. It'll mess everything up. And you don't want it to ever go red too. Let me show you that. You don't want that. You can avoid this in the, let me go back to that. Sure. Untitled master. We're going back to the project file, and in order to avoid clipping, you click on the master. You can adjust it from here, or you can adjust it from here. But you want to do -3, -4, -5, anything that will avoid it from peaking. For example, when we put this at 0, that means this raised at 2 points. We're going to take off the adjustment. You can see what happens. See, it's peaking. That tells you the highest peak it reaches. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. So, for example, I'm going to drop it down 3 dB. If I can get it. Gotta go a little bit further, so we're going to try 4. Doesn't matter what value you choose, just want it lower than what its highest peak is. And a quick way to find peaks is just going through the waveform, which part looks the biggest. So you see the build-up is generally pretty big, drop isn't as big, it's still a big present clip though. So as you see, nothing is clipping past the -4 bar we set, which is good. So we can go back here, don't save, doesn't really matter. And yeah, it's all good, all ready, all whatever, all whatchamacallit. If you're converting this into an MP3 file, change this to -1. We gotta adjust that now. Good. So just making sure, -1. Okay, file. Export, exact same export settings, no dither, no nothing. Exporting. Cool. Now we're going to minimize that. Oh, wrong button. Minimize it. Open Audacity. And this is the main program I use for converting, because this is a lame MP3 converter. Not that it's actually lame, but it's actually called LAME. So we'll load the track on. We got the master. Listen. Yeah, whatever. File, export audio. Options. This is what I use. I find that it's the most consistent. If you don't want to do this, I recommend you do what do you call it? If you don't want to use what I'm using right now, the preset Insane 320 kbps variable speed standard or joint stereo. Another good one is variable, having the best quality. I don't like doing that because it's not 320 kbps and it does it relative to the samples, so it can be really high or really low. Average, nah, don't recommend it. Constant, good. Preset, I like it the best though, because that's insane. And it's working the best for me right now. Save. You can adjust your tags. So, Amizu. Mashup. Tutorial. Album title. Mashup. Yep, so you can pretty much do that if you want to load tags right there. And if you know this is the last master for the song, go ahead. Speeds up the process. Open iTunes. Run over to drag it on. And it's there. So that is how you make a mashup really quickly. You repeat the same process over and over again if you want it to be longer. But the main thing is just go out and try something. That's all I can really suggest. If you didn't learn anything from this tutorial, just go out, just play around with the program, because if you don't, then you're not going to learn how to use it correctly. So, highly recommend you just play around with it and have fun with it. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll check you guys out later. Peace out, guys.